All right, so I said I was gonna have a wireframe, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to set up something very simple for our guild bans page. I'll let you all style it however you want. But a couple things I want to mention is I went ahead and I downloaded the default Discord avatar, and I went ahead and I added an avatar for my account. So I'm going to show you how we can make it so that whenever the user does not have an avatar, we'll render the default one, and if they do, we'll render the actual user's avatar. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this div. I'm going to import the page styled component that we created very, very early. And all this page does is it just gives us some padding. That's literally it. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take everything inside page. I'm going to wrap it inside a container. And this container is literally just a div with fixed width. Okay. And then it's centered as well. So what's next is I'm going to go ahead and create another style component that's just going to style up this user box over here. So what I'll do is I'll go inside the styles, the index.txt file, okay, and I'll create a component called user ban card, okay, and it's just gonna have some simple properties, nothing too crazy. We're just gonna give it a background color. Well, actually, no, not a background color, a border. So this will be a white color with some opacity. We're going to go ahead and give it some padding, of course. So I'll try, let's say 24 pixels top and bottom. And then maybe left and right we'll do 36 pixels. That might be a little bit too much, but we'll leave that alone for now. And then I'm going to add some box sizing. Set that property to border box. And we'll add a border radius of 4 pixels. So if I go over to Guild Band's page, I'm going to go ahead and modify this a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take, let's see. So I want to actually put this text inside the guild, or not the guild, the user band card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this. I'm going to go ahead and import user band card. I'm going to put the text inside there. If you look over here, we have the text. Yes, this is a little bit too big. So I'll have to change up the size a little bit. We'll do maybe like 18 pixels top and bottom. And then left and right, we'll do, let's see, 12 pixels maybe? No, that's way too little. I think 18 pixels is fine. Though the background color, I'm not really too much of a fan of the background color, if I'm being honest with you. We can try to give it like a different background color. If we're not too much of a fan of it, though. But like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time trying to figure this out. I'll let you all take care of that on your own time. But yeah, this is not too bad. Okay, so now that we have this, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that we can have the avatar all the way on the right side. So it's going to be very similar to how we had the guild menu page set up. Okay, so if you recall, let me refresh. So I'm on the menu page. It's very similar. Instead, we actually had the avatar on the left side. Okay, so it's gonna be pretty much similar. If you don't like this style, obviously you can create like a different card if you want. But to be honest, there's really not that much properties that are returned from this endpoint. Like the only thing that you get is the username, the avatar, the discriminator, and the public flags, and that's really it. There's really not much that you honestly will get, to be honest. So, anyways, we'll leave it like this for now. So we're gonna go ahead and not use div. We're gonna use an image source and provide an all attribute. Okay, so we need to get the user's avatar. This is actually pretty simple. I think we actually created a we actually created a helper function called get icon URL. Only downside is that it took in a guild parameter, which is kind of annoying. So I think what we could do is we could probably, yeah, no, this is a little bit annoying. So yeah, that I didn't think of that. I didn't think ahead. So here's what I'll do. We need the guild ID, of course, and then we need the guild, not the guild icon. Oh wait, what am I talking about? We don't need the guild ID. We're trying to get the user's avatar. So this one's a little bit different. Okay, so this is fine. I actually should call this get guild icon URL instead. Okay, but we want to get the user's avatar, so this is slightly different. It's the same thing, but it's a little bit different. Over here, all we gotta do is just pass in the user's ID, okay, and then pass in the user's avatar hash, and then we're pretty much good to go. So I'm gonna create another function. I'm just gonna call this export const get user. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and just go into Guildband's page and do this. So this is going to expect the user's ID. So we're going to pass in a user. And remember this Discord user type, we copied and pasted this from the Nest.js project, and we pasted this inside our own types.ts file inside the React project, okay? So we have it here. So I'm going to pass in the user, and the path that we need to visit is /avatars. So instead of /icons, it's /avatars. And then the user ID. So instead of guild ID, it's just user ID. And then the user underscore avatar property, which is literally just user.avatar. Okay, remember avatar is the hash right over here. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we just call get avatar URL. Get the user. Now, the avatar might be null, like the avatar property might be null. I wonder what happens if it is null. That's quite interesting, because I don't think it will actually, I don't think it would actually give us back the default avatar though. Alright, yeah, so I just tried out myself. Seems like it didn't give back anything. It just gives a 404. So, yeah, we gotta do a null check. So that's okay though. So what we'll do is we'll do band.user.avatar. So if it's null, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we need to actually import this default avatar. So let me do that. So import default avatar from assets default underscore avatar.png. So we'll pass in default avatar as a parameter there, or the avatar URL. Okay, so that should pretty much do the trick. So when we call get avatar URL, we just pass in the user type, we get the user ID, the user avatar.png, and we're good to go. So let's go ahead and go into the app. So let's see. Okay, so it seems like we did something wrong. If avatar is null, let's see. Wait, well, what am I doing here? If this is truthy, I did it the other way around. If avatar is truthy, we gotta return get avatar URL. If it's falsy, then we will return default avatar. Okay, that's fine. But you can see that it works, right? You can see that it works. It doesn't, in fact, work. Okay, so that's okay. Let's change up the size a little bit. Let's do width of 40, height of 40. Actually, that's a little bit too small. Maybe we could do 50. Actually, you know, that's a little bit too small. Maybe 100? I think 100 is okay. I just wish that there were more stuff that we could get from the endpoint, because then we could actually make this a nice card. Like, for example, you can display the avatar, the username. It doesn't make sense to really display the ID, to be honest with you. Maybe you could do something where with the public flags, you can check what public flags, like you can check like the number, and then you can render out the you can display the actual like the flags that they have. Like I think the public flags property tells you like which badge they have on Discord, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah. So we want to make this a flex box. So let me go ahead and make this a flex box. Okay, and then justify content, space between, and then align items, center. I'm not really much of a fan of this spacing, but I wonder what happens if I get rid of the padding. Yeah, no, it's not good. Yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of that. So I think what I'll do instead is we could probably do this instead. We could probably make it a grid because remember we're gonna have a lot of user bans, right? Or you might have a lot of user bans. So here's what we'll do. We'll actually make this a grid instead. So first, let me do this. Let me see. Yeah, actually, I think if we're gonna make it a grid, I think there's no point of I don't think there's really a point of like using a flexbox for a user band card. I think there's a better idea. I think I have a better idea actually. So let me do this. So first, let me go ahead and do this. So this div over here, we're gonna make this a grid. Okay. So we might have more. We might have a lot more user bands. Um, I just wish I could actually render this out. I could just copy and paste this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we will have to make this a grid. So display grid. Okay, grid template columns. I'm thinking maybe, let's see, maybe 3 columns, maybe. Yeah, 3 columns. I'm just gonna copy this 2 more times just so I can see what it looks like. Yeah, that's fine. And then what we'll do is we will set a grid column gap of, let's say, 10 pixels. So now we have that column gap over there. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, honestly. I just wish that there was more stuff that we could actually display. Let me try 20 pixels. I think 18 pixels would be great. You could also do 4 columns if you want. 4 columns wouldn't be bad at all. Let's try 4 columns and see what that looks like. Yeah, I mean, if it's just the username might be very long though, so you'd have to be careful of that. But I think 3 columns would be perfect in my opinion. And let me go ahead and style up. Let me go back to band user card. Let me go back and bring it back to a flexbox. Okay. Yeah, this is not bad. Honestly, like I said, it's not the best styling in the world, but if you can think of other stuff to add, you can try to like figure out how to like get the Discord badges because like I said, if you have the public flags, you can tell. I think you can figure out. Um, let's see. You can figure out. Yeah. So you can see over here. You can probably like download the icon somewhere on the internet and based off of the flags that they have, you can render those. You can render all of the flags. So you can see that there's staff, partner, hype squad, verified bot, verified developer, etc., etc. So that's something that I'll let you all figure that out. Cool. So I think this is pretty much it for that. Let me go ahead and do this. Let me style the icon real quick. I do want to add a border radius. That doesn't really look too nice. Let's try 4 pixels maybe. Yeah, I think 4 pixels would be fine, honestly. Okay, so yeah, this is what it would look like in a grid. And if you had more items that are being rendered, it would just go to the next. Actually, wait, did I have 4? Oh, I want it to be 3. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So I'll just go to the next line. I will actually set this to, instead of column gap, I want a grid gap. There we go. So yeah, that would pretty much save you a lot of space. So if you have, let's say, 1,000, let's say for example, if you had 1,000 records, right? You would end up having like, if you put everything on its own line, you would end up having 1,000 rows. Well, now that we have a grid where we have 3 columns, well, that's going to be about I think what's like 333 rows. It's basic math, right? So it saves you some time. If you want to add pagination, you could find a way to add some pagination, though. Now, I think pagination would probably require you to set that up on your own on your backend server. You would have to cache the data, but pagination would be a little bit tricky. Not really tricky, but you would just have to actually have the data cached, and then you would have to, and then that way you would know ahead of time, like which record, how many records you have, how to paginate, etc., etc. Because, like I said, the Discord endpoint does not handle pagination for you, so you have to find a way to do that yourself. But this is pretty decent for now. Let me go ahead and just remove all of the other stuff that we added. And of course, like I said, if you had more guild bands, they would pretty much be rendered out the way that you expect it to. Though, yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video. In the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to add functionality. So whenever we click on the user card, what's going to happen is it's going to navigate us to the next page, right? And then when it navigates us to the next page, it's going to have it's going to show us like the users. It's going to show us the same thing, but it's just going to have like an option section where if we want to ban the if we want to remove the user's ban or not. Okay. We'll also make it so that we can probably make it so that we can fetch like the user's record too, and see like how many infractions they have, etc., etc. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for the video. So hopefully you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next episode. Peace out.